We are ready.
Okay. Hi, my name is Lisa Bova Glick.
Lisa, hold on. I'm gonna have to start. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the April 13, 2023 meeting of the Community Board 6 Health and Human Services Committee. My name is Elvie Barroso, and I'm the chair of the committee. This meeting is called to order at 6:34 p.m. Tonight, we are joined by Assistant District Manager Brendan Burt. As a reminder, New York State law now requires all community board members to have their cameras on and their first and last names displayed from the time the meeting is called to order until the time the meeting is adjourned. If your camera is not on and your name not properly displayed, you cannot count towards quorum. Members of the public, you can raise any questions or comments that you have through the Q&A feature of Zoom. If there is time following the committee's discussion, we will field questions from the public. Raj Naiduyar will take minutes tonight. Thank you so much, Raj. So we will now take attendance by roll call. Brendan will conduct the roll call.
Committee members, I will call your name and you will unmute yourselves. When your name is called, please say present. I will announce if there is quorum. Marty Barrett.
Present.
Elvie Barroso.
Present.
Jason Fromowitz.
Sorry, present. Hello.
Sadie Howard. Okay, I don't see Sadie, so she is absent. Sandra Leftoff, I also don't see, so she is counted as absent. Raj Nayar.
Present.
Kevin O'Keefe.
Present.
Aisha Siddiqui.
Present.
Hannah Singleman.
Present.
And Ronnie White is also absent, but we have a quorum.
The agenda for tonight's meeting was distributed ahead of time by the board office and is reflected on the screen before you. If there is no objection, we will adopt the agenda. Members of the committee, if you object to adopting the agenda, you may raise your hand through Zoom. Seeing no objections, the agenda for tonight's meeting is adopted. The minutes from the March 9th meeting were distributed ahead of time by the board office. If there is no objection, we will adopt the minutes as drafted. Members of the committee, if you object to adopting the minutes, you may raise your hand through Zoom. Seeing no objections, the minutes from the March 9th meeting are adopted. They will soon be available on the Community Board 6 website. In order to conduct an efficient meeting, let's observe a few ground rules. No one may speak until granted the floor. Committee members, if you have a question about committee business or wish to make a motion, please raise your hand through Zoom. The chat function should not be used for committee business or questions about agenda topics. All such remarks should be made on the record by raising your hand through Zoom. Chat should only be used to alert us to any technical difficulties you are having or to state in writing information that was already stated aloud on the record during the meeting. When a committee member is given the floor to speak, I will identify you and you can unmute yourself so that you can speak. Committee members are required by the state open meetings law to have their Zoom cameras on and your first and last name displayed during tonight's entire meeting from call to order to adjournment. If you must step away from your computer briefly, you are required to leave your camera on. Tonight, we have 3 agenda topics. The first one is a presentation from the NYU Langone Alzheimer's disease-related dementias family support program. We have 2 speakers tonight. The first one is Lisa Boba-Glick, who has supported the needs of older adults for over 15 years. She worked as a community coordinator in Brooklyn for 9 years, where she assisted clients, predominantly seniors, in applying for health insurance, food stamps, and accessing other services in the community for their daily living. At present, Lisa is a community health representative for the NYU Langone Alzheimer's disease and related dementias family support program. She has worked at this program for the past 6 years. Our second speaker is Julia Schaefer. LCSWR is a licensed clinical social worker from the Family Support Program who has been practicing for 15 years. For the past 4 years, her work has focused on helping families who have been affected by dementia. She uses a strength-based approach when working with families to help them build resiliency and improve quality of life for each member of the family. So please welcome our speakers tonight.
Thank you very much. And so I may begin.
Yes.
Okay, so my name is Lisa Boba-Glick, and as a community health rep, I want to thank you so much for answering my call for help. Having us here tonight is a testament to your ability to understand, I apologize, to understand and care about the importance of caregiver support for those caring for a loved one with dementia. So we are the NYU Langone Alzheimer's disease and related dementias family support program. We are completely free because we're state funded and we're open to everyone. Next slide. So our mission is to enhance the quality of life and well-being of family caregivers and the people with dementia for whom they care. Support services include care consultations with clinical social workers, support groups for caregivers, caregiver respite through programs for persons with early stage dementia, and programs for caregivers and those with memory loss to enjoy together. And we call that joint enrichment. And so again, it says that we're supported by a grant from the New York State Department of Health, and all services are free of charge. And now I'll turn it over to Julia.
Thank you. So a lot of people ask why we should support the caregivers of people who have dementia, because they're not the people that are typically considered sick. So they kind of say, why would we focus on the caregivers and not the people with dementia? Our director, Dr. Mary Middleman, actually is an epidemiologist, and she conducted the NYUCI study, which showed some really important information about supporting caregivers and what happens when you support a caregiver of somebody who has dementia. The first thing that she found was that everybody started to do better when the caregiver was supported. Not only did they do better, but so did the person with the memory problem. And then she also found that supporting the caregivers reduced nursing home placement. So as an epidemiologist, she wasn't so concerned about reducing nursing home placement. Nursing homes can be life-saving for many people. But she knew that increased stress levels and depression had profound impacts on people's health and the health of families. And so throughout the study, she found out that there was a reduced caregiver depression, reduced caregiver stress in reaction to the behavior of the person with dementia, because people that have dementia can have all sorts of behaviors that can be difficult to deal with. The caregiver had better health outcomes and rated themselves as feeling healthier. that even during the transition to a nursing home, the caregiver felt less depressive symptoms, and the positive effects of reducing the symptoms of depression even lasted after the person with the memory problem had died. So she took that information to New York State, and that was how actually we got our grant, was through this study that she had done, which showed that supporting the caregiver actually benefited the entire family. What our program provides is individual counseling. So if somebody calls our program, I want to tell you the first thing is they do not get an automatic voicemail, or they're not going to hear a message that says press 1 for this, press 2 for this. They call, they speak to a real living, breathing human being. Every once in a while, somebody will have to leave a message, a typical voicemail, and then a real living, breathing human being, we'll call them back. They will be connected with a social worker to provide individual and family support and counseling. If they choose to participate in a support group, we have several at the family support program, including one group that's particular for families members that are caring for a person that lives afar from them. So either the person lives in New York City, the person with the memory problem, and their family members are in a different state, or the person, the family member is in New York State and they're caring for somebody abroad. And we've had people who are living in other states, we've had people that are living in other countries participate in this support group. We provide various workshops and seminars educating people about dementia, other resources that are available, how to manage certain behaviors. We also have a program that's called A Place for Us, which is recreational therapy designed specifically for people who have cognitive decline, and it's designed to help stimulate the brain of people who are living with a memory problem. We're big advocates for fun. So we do museum tours, memory cafes, and these are designed for the family and the person with dementia to enjoy together. Oftentimes we find that people tend to isolate, particularly when they have a diagnosis. And so this is an opportunity for people to sort of remember what they can do together rather than thinking about the deficits that have been brought on by the diagnosis. And we also have a buddy program in which an NYU student is connected with a person that has a memory problem. And the person with the memory problem serves as a mentor for the NYU student who's learning about dementia. And it's also respite for the caregiver who can have the NYU student take their family member out for a little bit and enjoy some time with them together. So our social work services, I'm a social worker at the Family Support Program. Each time a client calls, they get connected with the same social worker. So when a client calls us and they are assigned to me, our grant lasts for 5 years. This client can call me and they will speak with me directly. It's not a different social worker. Every time they call, if a new behavior starts, this person will call me. I'm already familiar with their family. I know their case and I will help them. We work with the family members on many things that happen in their life, all centered around dementia, whether that be discussing the diagnosis with their community or their family members. How do I live this? How do I plan for the future? What finances do I need to have in place? Where do I get care? Those are all things that we do. We provide people with referrals in the community. These are the resources that can help you get through this. This is where you can find support, even home attendance, various services. And we work with the whole family. So oftentimes, I don't know about your families. In my family, there's 5 people and there's about 7 different opinions. And we find that that's very common in people in most of the families that we work with. So sometimes there can be conflicts in the family. We help do consultations around those conflicts about the differences of ideas that people have of care or how to address issues. And also help the family with their various ways of struggling and grieving as the diagnosis continues. We also have a coffee clash. This is a caregiver to caregiver connection. It meets through Zoom. It's an informal group. There's not a social worker present. There are other NYU staff members present. where caregivers can mentor each other. It's very informal. They don't have to make a commitment. Many times when you join a support group, a traditional support group, you have to know you're going to be there every Tuesday. Not everybody can make a commitment to that especially when they're working full time and they have a family and they're caring for somebody. So this is something that's very unique to our program that we developed after consulting with our clients, that it's very informal. People can come. They're not required to attend the next time if they don't want to. And so that's something that we get a lot of positive feedback about. I had mentioned the buddy program earlier. So a person in their early stages of Alzheimer's or another dementia is matched with a college student, and they meet every month, and they do some sort of meaningful companion type of activity that they can do together. The student gets college credit for this. They're learning about dementia. They're learning about how to be with somebody who has this disease, and usually the caregivers really enjoy it. And so does the person with the memory problem. The benefits of this particular program is that the person stays active, the person with the disease stays active. The student learns about ways that dementia affects the daily life. These are usually medical students, so they need to know this knowledge, that it's not just a neurological disorder, but that it actually affects every way that somebody can function. And then, of course, the family member gets a break. We also started, NYU started the Unforgettables Chorus, and this is a really fun program where somebody with dementia and their family member join a choir and they get to sing. They don't have to have any prior musical knowledge. We have found that this even benefits people who have aphasia. Many of you may not know this, but people who have lost their ability to speak because of dementia or sometimes even other disorders oftentimes can still sing. And so this group gets together, they sing songs from before times, things that people might be familiar with. They do Christmas carols and all sorts of things, and they just enjoy each other's company singing and practicing singing. And this is something that is for the entire family. We don't talk about dementia in this, as it says, Dr. Middleman says, dementia is not at the forefront. This is, in this activity, the person is at the forefront. And we actually try to make that as a part of all of our programs. We don't talk about dementia in the joint enrichment, the music, and the museum visits. We really try to talk about fun and enjoyment. So Lisa's going to talk a little bit about the support that she provides to people as a community health representative. She would be one of the first people that somebody would be connected to when they call our program. She would be the one that would be answering the phone, or one of our other community health representatives. And she often is the first person to greet people and start connecting them to services. So I'll let you tell everybody what you do.
Sure. Thank you, Julia. As a community health rep, I happen to love my job because someone calls and they don't know what to do. They don't know where to turn. They don't know what's out there. They didn't even realize all this time that there was help. And once we talk and I tell them about everything that Julia just told you about, they're so much more relaxed and they're ready to talk to the social worker. So we're like the first responders in a sense, where we welcome them, we tell them about our program. Also, we're here to provide resources. So if one of Julia's clients calls and says, I need a home care agency, or we can provide that. Many times the social worker will reach out to us and say, I have a client who needs this, this, and this, and we will get the information for them. Many times a caregiver calls and they need home delivered meals, especially during COVID. That was tough. And we would help them. We would send them the link to get the information. We would be the ones that would call and see if they'll deliver to this neighborhood, that neighborhood. So we were there as community health reps to provide information, do the intake, and always be here. I always tell clients, even though I'm going to connect them to a social worker, I always leave off by saying, listen, if you cannot get in touch with your social worker and you just need to talk to someone, please call back. And so we're here to provide these resources. And also, we're here to do outreach. That's why I got in touch with you. And we're here to try to find a way that we can work together to inform your community about our free program. And we also do it in Spanish. That's the other thing that we didn't mention. So that's what I do. And getting in touch and mingling with the community is another thing I do, which I look forward to doing in your community. And that's it.
We'd like to open it up for questions if anybody would like to ask a question. And I am unable to see if anybody raises their hand. So maybe Elvie, if you see somebody, you can tell us.
I think you have to, the slides has to be,
Like minimize it.
I can stop the share.
yeah, stop.
You don't need to look at the question slide.
Right.
Okay, any questions from our members?
Oh boy, we must have did a great job explaining.
Yeah, I mean, I will say there are a couple, I mean, I see Raj has
Oh,
his
I
hand
see
raised.
Raj.
Actually, yeah. So, could you, and I might have missed this, could you provide the website or the phone number that
Sure.
we can reach, so that we can share that with the community?
Sure. How about I send it to Elvie and she shares it with the whole
Yeah,
committee? Is that a good idea?
yeah.
Sounds perfect.
Okay.
Thank you.
Sure.
Yeah, also flag that a member of the public who's attending this meeting is also asking about the contact number.
Okay.
So,
What I'm going to do is send you not only the contact number, but our brochure. And you can print it out and give it to whoever. We also have some brochures in the office that I can give you hard copies. I can have sent to you if you would like to put them in your office or hand them out that way.
And just so that anybody wants to note it down, the number is 646-754-2277. I think somebody said that we're not supposed to put things in chat, so I won't put it in chat, but you guys have that.
Yeah, and I
Okay.
will email it to you as soon as we hang up with this Zoom.
Lisa, I have a question.
Yes,
So you mentioned that everything is free and that's because this is a state funded.
mhm.
So how long is the funding?
We were renewed in August for another 5 years.
So in 2027, I think that it's June 30th, 2027 is our end date, and we're hoping that it will be renewed again.
I see. And also another question is that so a family has to enroll in that program?
Yes. I must, as you know, with state grants, there's rules and regulations, and we need to give them back a certain amount of data. So they say,
Right.
yeah, it's worth keeping it as a free program and we'll keep giving you money. So yes, we need to do an intake, but we need an intake also for the social workers to have an idea of what's going on. So it's pretty intense intake. It takes about 15 minutes. But we ask lots of questions and we tell them whatever you don't want to answer is fine, but we do need demographics and
Yeah.
things like that.
Any other questions from members? Brendan, do you see any other hands?
I don't see any other hands, but sort of in the same vein with regard to contact information. Joanna Sanchez, who is represented from Assemblymember Harvey Epstein's office, is asking if you, Julia, can provide your contact information. So I guess I don't know, Joanna, if the phone number is sufficient or if you'd like an email address as well. But if so, let me know, Joanna.
I'm happy to share. So the best way to get in touch with our program in general, if you want to refer a client, the number is 646-754-2277. If somebody wants to speak with me, they do have to go through the intake. But if you want to speak with me, you're also free to call me. My number is 646-754-2219. And we'll send that, my email through written things because it can be hard to do email through verbal.
Yeah. And I believe you have a health fair in June. Am I correct?
Yes, it's tentatively on June 10.
Yeah.
We have not finalized the location, but soon as it's finalized.
I had told Government Affairs Hannah and Rebecca that they asked if we wanted to be part of it, and absolutely we do.
Yes.
Okay.
Please. Thank you.
Now that would be great.
I see Hannah has her hand raised.
Hi. Yeah, thanks. Sorry, Brendan unmuted me. Thank you for doing, or I think Brendan unmuted me. Thanks for doing that. I just wanted to say with Joanna and Assemblymember Epstein's office, we're happy to follow up with you to make sure you have the contact info that you need. I'm in government affairs with this group and happy to help coordinate also for the health fair. So thanks for thinking of us.
Yes, thank you. So am I not to put the brochure in the chat? No?
You can send the brochure to Brendan.
Okay, I'll just email it. Very good.
Yes. Okay, so I think thank you so much for coming tonight to speak about this program that is very helpful.
I think that everyone here must either know someone who has memory loss or knows someone who's caring for someone with memory loss or has lost someone with memory loss. And so you know what the caregiver goes through. And I want to thank you again for having us and for caring about this issue.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Bye.
Okay, so we're gonna move forward now to our second agenda topic, which is the continued discussion on the EpiPen RESO. Brendan, can you please? Okay, so we are in this final draft of the resolution, semi-final draft. So if you have comments, please say so. Otherwise, we can pass. We can vote to get these passed, and we can present into the next full board meeting in May.
I see Jason has his hand raised.
Yeah. Sorry, I'll wait to be recognized.
Jason, please.
Thanks. I think there was a couple follow-ups from our meeting last month on wanted to clarify about the FDNY's current use of EpiPens on their ambulances. Did we get clarification from them on that?
Yes, Brendan.
Yeah, so we were told that firefighters themselves do not have EpiPens on them. I talk about this in in the last whereas clause, or we talk about this in the last whereas clause. Firefighters do not regularly carry or include EpiPens.
Interesting. Thanks. Yeah, cool.
Obviously, Jason's hand is raised
Jason.
again.
Yeah, I'll call the question. We want
Uh,
to,
Second.
second,
Thank you, but we have to vote, isn't that Brandon? Brandon, you're muted.
Yeah, I made a complete rookie mistake there by not unmuting myself. Yeah. So Jason called to question, Marty seconded. I assume seconded on a motion to pass this resolution, but that wasn't made clear.
Okay, so I move that the motion be passed to approve this resolution and be presented to the full board meeting in May.
second.
Okay. So when I call your name, please say whether you are in favor, opposed, abstain, or abstain for cause. Marty Barrett,
A, aye.
Elvie Barroso,
Yes,
Jason Fromowitz,
In favor.
Sadie Howard. Oh, that's right. Sadie isn't present with us tonight, and neither is Sandra. Raj Nayar,
In favor.
Kevin O'Keefe,
In favor.
Aisha Siddiqui,
In favor.
Hannah Singleman.
In favor.
Okay, with 7 in favor, nobody opposed, abstaining, or abstaining for cause, the resolution passes.
thank you. Okay, so our third agenda is supposed to be a discussion on the outreach to senior citizens in Manhattan Community District 6, but Sandra is not here today. But anyway, I just want to let everyone know that Sandra is going to be the lead in this project, and she will be reporting directly to Kyle, but she will be giving us a monthly updates about this project. So we're gonna go to the fourth agenda list, which is the updates on community board health fair. So the problem that we have now is location. So Kevin, I emailed you about location. Do you have any suggestion?
No, what was the issue with Epiphany? I thought that was being worked on. Is it because of the elevator? You're not happy with the elevator? Was that?
Well, it was Jesus that's not happy. Me, I would like it to be at Epiphany, so it's close.
Me too.
Yeah.
That's a space that has worked.
And also they're only charging us $600. The last time we had this in 2018, it was at the Baruch and they charged us $1,500. So that's a big difference.
I just have my hand raised because I know the other concern about the Epiphany site is the table situation. With the 2019 Senior Resource Fair, there were, at Baruch, there were, I think, about 35 tables, and city agency or government agencies and other tablers complained about being cramped and not having enough space. We were told that there are even fewer tables at the Epiphany site, only about 20. So the table situation, I know, is also a concern.
Yeah, but Brandon, the tables at Epiphany is long, it's big. The tables that we had at Baruch was small. And the room was small, so it was cramped for 35 vendors. But the parish hall at Epiphany is big. So even if we only have 20 tables, 2 vendors can share in 1 table.
Sky Cove had a few of our annual meetings there, and there's a lot of space.
Yeah, it's a big space.
You know, we had, I don't know, about 50, 60 people for our meeting, and we took up almost no room compared to what would be available there. And the people of all ages and abilities came to the meeting.
We have the same situation. I helped put together a,
Kevin.
sorry,
Yeah. Kevin, please.
raise my hand. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
I thought it was up, but I guess I took it down.
Yeah.
The Pinewood Derby that we had there, again, this is a huge racetrack with a lot of different stations. This was in the same space. No issue whatsoever, including with those that needed ADA accessibility. So I just don't understand why this is an issue.
I'll bring this back to Jesus and Kyle's. I know both of them had concerns about the ADA access as well as the table situation.
Okay. The other option that you could look into is 69th Regiment Armory. That has plenty of space. They have done shows. I do not know what their rent is, but that would have plenty of space. 26 in Lexington.
Yeah, I also asked John to help us. He has a contact at PS40 and the Baruch High School, but I have not gotten any response yet. So
I'm happy to look into the 69th Regiment Armory if we think that's appropriate.
They might not have tables, though.
I think they do, though.
You know, they can roll the tanks in there.
There you go.
There's plenty of room for tanks and big trucks, and you know, it's a great space.
I think they may downstairs. I have seen downstairs, and I know they have a lot of shows there.
So can I also volunteer from members who can help, because the CB6 office is too short of manpower to help us.
Well, Kevin said he'd try to contact them, so.
Yeah, that's why my hand is raised. I will.
Thank you, Kevin.
You're welcome.
Okay, so any other new business? Oh, what about the list of vendors? Any updates on that?
So yeah,
Jason?
I was tasked with putting together, collecting whether or not we've heard back from which vendors. I did not get to send this out ahead of time. I have it now. So I will be sending around a copy of the spreadsheet to everyone who was to a Google Sheet, and I'll ask those who contacted vendors to please fill in this column for the contact person, if they're coming, what their RSVP is, and any comments or notes. So I'll send that around after the meeting and just ask if you contacted one of the vendors to please fill out the response.
Jason, thank you so much for doing that. And also when we have the site, the location, please also finalize the flyer. Okay.
Yes. Yep, absolutely.
Marty?
Yeah, as I said in my email, I had responses from 6 of the agencies that I had contacted, but I've since stopped contacting anybody since there's no space. And since we're 8 weeks from the date, it's getting really close. And
So
until there's something that we actually know to continue telling, agencies and vendors, oh, yeah, June, whatever, but we don't know where. So that they really can't prepare for anything.
we still have time.
Okay.
We still have 2 months. So hopefully by the end of next week, we should have a site already. If we don't, we may have to push it.
Jason, I'll forward what I've gotten to you tomorrow.
Sorry, it sounds great. Thank you.
Yeah, so please just provide or give it to Jason, any vendors that you have already communicated with. Any other new business? Any old business? Anything else? So if there are no new business, no old business, we will adjourn the meeting. Okay. So
Have a good evening.
seeing no further business,
Thanks.
the meeting